Warning: this video will contain talk of sexual assault, pedophilia, and murder. If you are sensitive to any of the above topics, this is a book review you should skip. Now, on to the video for those of you still watching. Hey guys, it's Mia here, and welcome back once again to another bookish episode. Now, I just finished Lovely Bones by Alison Sebold. And I will say that this book is an emotional roller coaster because, hoo boy, it starts off so intense. And before I get into that, it is in the perspective of a girl named Susie who was 14 at the time of her death. And it takes place on seeing down on the people that she loved and cared about, and also on the one that killed her while she's in heaven. And this book does not shy away from tough topics to talk about. It is very emotional. I felt myself getting very angry, getting very happy, having a very bittersweet feeling. It's just an emotional roller coaster. And I think that Alison Sebold really conveys that emotion in a very nice way instead of having, biased opinions toward it. She portrays it in a nice way. But right off the bat, I was actually buddy reading this with my grandma because if you guys watched my book haul that I got from my aunt, I now had 2 copies of this, so I gave my grandma the nicer copy, and we were reading it together. So I started reading this a little bit before she did, and because of the opening, I'm like, you might not want to read this. It might not be your kind of book. But she texted me the other day and she's like, this book has me hooked. And she actually got farther than I did. I was like, oh, I haven't been reading for a bit, so I'll catch up. But yeah, so this was actually a buddy read with my grandma. And so poor Susie goes through an ordeal that I hope no one should go through. And she is actually killed by her neighbor. That's not really a spoiler because it's said right off the bat who killed her and how she died. That's how the book opens. Like right off the bat you get to know who killed her and how they killed her. And it's not nice. Their neighbor, Mr. Harvey, as he's referred to in most of the book, she's not the first person he's killed. He's done this many times before, sad to say. Somebody needs neutered and then, just don't want to go there. But how someone can do that to little girls or even people in general, how can someone do that to someone? I can't even accidentally step on my cat's tail without feeling like a horrific person. And I'm like giving him lovin's for 5 minutes afterwards. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. How could someone do something that horrible to someone? To lure them into that situation and then just force yourself on someone and then kill them outright. I mean, it's disgusting. And I just felt for this little girl, and I'm like, well, she's already in heaven at the start of the book, so there's nothing anyone can do about it. There's no getting out of this situation. And throughout the book, as she's looking down from heaven on her killer, her family, and her friends, and whoever else she decides to pop in and look at, we get to see her family's life and how they feel about losing her. And her sister is very, not cold-hearted about it. She's hurting, yeah, but she's like, it happened, I'm not going to let it weigh me down, I'm going to keep moving. You know, she's not going to be like, my whole world's going to stop because my sister died. And I know that when people say, oh, I'm sorry for your loss, that's them trying to be nice. But her family hears that so many times throughout this book. And I'm like, how can anyone heal and move on if they have people every 5 minutes in their face saying, oh, I'm sorry for your loss? They didn't lose anything. Their family member died. And for me, if I lost a loved one, I think I would go off. Like, I would be hurting enough already without everyone constantly going, I'm sorry for your loss, I'm sorry for your loss, I'm sorry for your loss. And like Susie's sister says, I wasn't aware I lost anything. Susie is dead, not lost. And I'm just like, you poor girl, can I just come in and give you a hug and just let you cry it out or whatever you need to do? Because, I couldn't imagine. It's so horrible. Especially to lose someone in that way. I couldn't imagine. And Mr. Harvey, like I said, this wasn't the first time he's done this. He even keeps trophies from his victims. And I'm like, you're sick in the head. And somebody needs to take care of this before you kill any more people. I think it's because he had mom issues, because he ends up saying that his mom was constantly with bad people and was raped right in front of him, which, yeah, that's sad, but you literally witnessed this happening to your mother. And you think that gives you the right to go and do the same thing that you witnessed horribly to other people? That's not how that works. No, that's not how that works. I would think you'd want the opposite for all the women you come across. Not to be another person like the ones that did it to your mom. But I know this book takes place in the 1970s, so they didn't have the fingerprint technology and DNA stuff and forensic science. They didn't have all that, or at least it wasn't as advanced as it is now. So he could say, oh, I didn't do this, I hope you find the one that did, I can lead you to some clues, and the officers would be like, oh, well, he's being cooperative, he's helping us, he's pointing us in the direction of subjects, and I'm like, he's literally telling you, suspects. Don't you think, why is he pointing us in the direction of this kid? Maybe he's pointing fingers at other people because he's the one that did it. Or he even has a diagram of where he killed Susie, because he killed Susie in this underground bunker he made for temporary use in the cornfield. Not only does he have multiple drawings of it with the exact layout of how it is, and the cops see that, he gets away with it with the excuse that he's a builder because he builds dollhouses. So he's a builder, he's an architect. So he over-speculates stuff that he hears. Like he heard about Susie being found in the cornfield, well, her elbow anyway. And so he over-speculated. And I'm like, how is that not a big old red flag? Like, this guy did it. His explanations are watery at best, and he's still getting away with it. There was multiple clues pointing in his direction, and the cops are just like, oh, that makes sense, sorry for bothering you. If one's a coincidence, two is suspicious. What is 3 or 4 or 5? But no, they're just like, oh, go on about your day, Mr. Harvey, see you later. And the whole time, the dad of Susie suspects Mr. Harvey. He goes and investigates. He confronts him. And the dad's like, I know he did it, you need to look into him. But the cops just think he's being paranoid and crazy because he wants to find his daughter's killer now. They just think he's targeting him to have someone to blame. There was a saying I really like pertaining to that in the book, and it is, a father's suspicion is as strong as a mother's intuition. I don't know why I like that saying so much, but it just popped out to me, and I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Because, I mean, my dad He's never once been wrong about anyone he met. Never once. He could meet someone for the first time, say something about them that he would not know, and it be 100% true. So when it comes to Dad's suspicion, I believe that that's a good thing to go on because, whoo boy, I know my dad's never been wrong about one person he's met. And for them to discard her dad like that, especially with all the other evidence stacking up on Mr. Harvey, I'm like, somebody in this police department needs to be fired because they're not doing their job. Because they have all these clues that are constantly stacking up against this one man, but the simplest explanations from Mr. Harvey get them off his back. Like, no! No. I know it's the 70s, but can you be more smarter than that? Be just a little smarter than that. Anyway, so Susie's witnessing all this in heaven, and she's like, I want so badly to be able to go, like, go this way, go this way, go that way. Like, but she can't do anything. She wants so badly to control them like they're Sims, to lead them to the person that killed her. But she can't do anything because there's a barrier stopping her. She can only watch. She can't guide them. But she wants so badly to do so, and I'm just like, I wish you could. I wish you could put this slime ball, horrible, not even human, monster in his place and get him arrested. But finally, when the cops wisen up and are like, oh, we gotta go here, he's already done. He's already gone. I'm like, it took you this long to finally realize, oh, we've had like 20 clues against this one person, but by the time you're closing in on him, he's gone. Nice job, police department, nice job. And speaking of family, I've talked about her sister, her dad. Let me talk about her mom. I get that grief happens, and I could not imagine a pain worse than losing your own child. But she has 2 other children, Susie's sister and Susie's little brother, to look after. But instead of staying, because she can't handle the pain, she leaves her 2 other children. She's like, oh, I can't handle the pain of losing one child, but I'm going to abandon my other 2 because I don't want to be here anymore. Like, what's the logic in that? You're in pain because you lost one child, but instead of sticking by the 2 that are still alive, you up and leave them. That makes a whole lot of sense. So, my least favorite character in this, out of everyone in the book, is actually Ruth, which is someone that Susie barely talked to, but touched on her way to heaven. And Ruth is kind of a little obsessed with Susie, and it borders on not so healthy, but she does kind of get over it. And 8 years go by, and still nobody knows where Mr. Harvey is. Her mom just came back because her dad had a heart attack, so they're dealing with that. And there was a part of that thought that broke my heart. Like, he's in the hospital of not having seen this woman for 8 years, and all he says is, hello, ocean eyes. And I'm like, why? Why you do that? This book is such a roller coaster of emotions, as it should be. The beginning was definitely not easy to read, but it shouldn't be easy to read. You're talking about a little girl being molested and murdered. That should never be easy to read. And my heart, oh, my heart. This book is such an emotional roller coaster. Like I said in the warning, if you're still here and you're sensitive to these things, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a book you'd want to skip. So, in all, I think I'm going to give this book a 4 out of 5, just because I wish the Harvey situation was handled better, because the cops had so much evidence against him, and they didn't put like 5 and 5 together until he was already way gone from the scenario. So, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoy your reading. Bye, guys.